geopolitical space. Your thoughts about Trump as a president, and also do you think he will end the Russia-Ukraine war?
Trump is an impressive man, a very impressive man. That man has broken the traditional two-party state of America. He has created new politics called Trumpism. All right? He desecrated what was known as the Republican Party. He's desecrated the Democratic Party. He's pulled people from all sides and created Trumpism. Right? On simply one agenda, America first. We are no longer just big brother of the world, at other people's interests because we have got more. Us first. This USAID business, okay? No, where are we giving others? And in fact, there's some charlatans here who are making money. Us first.
Oh my God! I may not be your best, and I don't claim to be, but I'm the one you have.
So Jimmy had a lot of good things to say about Trump, and he gave Trump his flowers. And so far, Trump is trying to do a good job. I personally voted for him to win the last election. And mostly it was for him to bring world peace. And he has done a tremendous job in trying to bring world peace. He is really trying with the Ukraine and Russia. He's really trying with the Arab countries. The only part that I think he's failing at is to solve the Palestine-Israel conflict. And that's mostly on the Israel because Israel, they just don't listen. That's the difficult task he has.
There are some people here who are on the streets, and yet we're feeding others on the streets. Okay?
Yeah.
Us first. We be big brother to ourselves first. Kenyans have got to start thinking the same way. Globalization is a secondary agenda. All right? Let's think of our brothers and sisters here. Trump is definitely changing the way the world order is.
Yeah.
Right? And understand the world order. We had a world order until the Second World War. Second World War created a new order of America. That's the one of the finance. That's the one of the World Bank. That's the one that created, even gave us, in a sense, independence. That's the one that went capitalist when the old order was communism, when one went communism. Remember? After World War II, you had Russia that went very communist, stayed there, and socialism as an economic order. And America led the war in capitalism, right? That climaxed with the end of the Cold War. That's when we got our multipartism. What is happening with globalization is that now you've had the emergence of a state that's not democratic called China, but has taken over the economic order, was catching up to America. And America, without its force of money, becomes a diminishing empire.
So whatever Trump is trying to do, he's really working hard for them to be number one again at products. But the tariff things might backfire or they might work, but there's a high probability that they might backfire. So as much as China is leading in products, America is still leading in services. So they're still number one at providing services from some of the softwares, from entertainment, from healthcare. So in service industry, they are still leading, but in the manufacturing industry, China took that title a long time ago. And as much as Trump wants that title back, it would be very, very hard to achieve because the cost of production in America is crazily high. And this tariffs is putting in most of the countries. They'll end up being transferred to the Americans. So the tactic of using tariffs is a very tricky one. But let's see if it will work. Then if it works for America, then it will be something that can be adopted in even some of the African countries.
What Trump is trying to do is catch up. I don't know whether he'll be able to succeed.
So you think he's threatened?
He's very threatened. America is very threatened by the growth of China. Very threatened. And these are not the days you can keep using arms. It's good. Trump is not a guy of too much of that. So there is a big issue. Russia is, at the end of the day, in the same camp as China. So you talk about the Ukrainian war. What is it really about? was about a border
Yeah.
that Ukraine was extending to NATO, that Russia felt threatened about. So if that interest is taken care of, I mean, would you allow your enemy to come to your door here?
Hell no.
And just shoot, and you can't react. So that is the real issue there, right? How close are you going to allow NATO? Right?
Yeah.
Judging by the way Trump is, I think there is a bit of understanding of where Russia is coming from. So it'd be interesting to see the dynamics of that. But that is not determining the world order. There's more of an old order, a world order being determined out of what's happening in Israel with Gaza, because now there's some things there that are being accepted that were not. And then there's certain rights to the Jewish community that are still very embedded in a lot of the West. So that's going to be a dynamic aspect. And you could see Trump very much on the side of Israel when it comes to that. Trump is changing the way we all look at economic order. Tariffs is his biggest thing. This whole tariff war, which was removed by the attempts at globalization, is where the game is. And you don't hear Kenya in that discussion.
But not our neighbors, but South Africa has found themselves in that war.
In terms of tariffs?
Yeah.
No, even us a little bit.
At least we have 10%. They have 30.
Yeah, they are 30. Yes, yes. That's the point. That's where the discussion is. Which should bring us to the discussion of money here. That is where the world is. That is where the world is. It's about the economy.
Yeah.
Right? And our placement. So when Ruto starts saying that China and Kenya are changing the economic order, you wonder where is he talking from? Okay? Yeah. Really, where is Kenya in this discussion? Africa, remember, is only 4% of GDP, the size of France.
Yeah.
Africa. So where is Kenya in that spec? We're nothing. So we should be thinking, where are we not in that discussion? So how are we going to be in that discussion? How do we grow Kenya to be on the table?
Yeah.
South Africa is on the table. We are not. We are not called to any G20 summit to be on the table. If we are invited, we are just like, you sit at the back and just keep quiet. Okay?
Sad scenario. Okay.